just woke up, so bear with me. So, a couple of days ago, on release day actually, I watched Spider-Man Brand New Day. Do I think that it is good? Yes, I think it was really good. It's probably one of the better MCU projects in general. And yeah, this is another warning. Spoilers. I'm gonna be doing a lot of spoilers, so don't watch it if you don't want those. I guess I'll start talking about how this movie carries on from No Way Home. So, No Way Home ended with Spider-Man making everyone forget who he was, because that's what he had to do in order to reverse the spell that Doctor Strange did. So that means his best friend Ned doesn't remember him, his own girlfriend MJ doesn't remember him at all. And so this movie takes place 4 years after that movie, where Spider-Man is now like the hero and people love him, and like he pretty much spends the whole movie watching Ned and MJ, and probably spends all 4 years watching them, seeing what they're up to, and eventually gets them involved with the main conflict. And then there's also this other side plot where Spider-Man is having trouble with his webs, and he's like, the arachnid part of him is getting to him because, you know, he's a spider, and but now he shoots organic webs. That's one thing, and that's pretty cool because that's what Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man had. And then he also has this really cool power-up where if he gets mad enough, or I still really don't understand how it works. I think it is when he gets like mad, his eyes turn black, and he ends up going crazy and is like extremely powerful. And like in the final battle, he's just straight up bodying guys after that. That's how bad his web shooters are. And now let's talk about what the main conflict is and what the main villain is. So the main villain in this movie, I'm sure you've seen that Sadie Sink is playing in this movie, and that's because she is playing Jean Grey. And oh my god, this is the coolest I've ever seen her in any kind of Marvel project. She like has this ability where she can take over someone's mind, and when she says something, they say the same exact thing. So she just goes from person to person to person to person and manipulates Peter from it. And pretty much the main conflict is that this one company, like a long time ago, took away her sister because she has the same abilities, and they're just trying to keep it safe. And so the reason why Jean Grey is doing all this bad stuff is to try and get her sister back until she figures out that they killed her sister. So then that makes her mad, and then she ruins even more stuff. And this is 2 characters that I'm sure you want to know about, and I'm sure you want to know their role in this movie. Punisher, I was expecting to just be like a cameo, but no, he is an essential part of the entire movie. he's basically a partner of Spider-Man now, and respects him. And Bruce Banner and Hulk. Bruce Banner is the dude who helps Peter, like, withstand his arachnid problem. Like, he tells him how to build it, and he puts, like, a special chip in his neck. And if you're wondering how Bruce Banner is Bruce Banner and not the Hulk version of it, it's because he designed, like, an inhibitor that makes him human again, but if he takes it off, then he becomes Hulk again. And yeah, that's how he becomes Hulk. He loses the inhibitor, and Spider-Man has to fight Hulk. And that fight, it's just as amazing as it sounds. It may just be the best Spider-Man fight yet. And, like, even Punisher comes in to fight him, which is kind of goofy, but it's also really funny. And, like, Jean Grey goes into Hulk's mind and how she's controlling him. It's just really cool. I really love it. So, I think those are my positives of this movie. Now let's get into things that I didn't really like. For one, I thought that Scorpion was gonna be, like, one of the main big bads, but he's not. He is pretty, like, he could have not been in the movie. And if he wasn't in the movie, then nothing would change. And, like, it doesn't make any sense, because they say that he's fought him multiple times, and maybe he could have in that 4-year gap. But why don't you show that? I feel like it would be better just for him to experience Scorpion for the first time. And then, yeah. But the thing about it is that in Homecoming, the movie that came out like 9 years ago at this point, in Homecoming, there was a post-credit scene where Scorpion was talking to whatever her face is, her dad, the Vulture, and he was asking if he knew who Spider-Man was. I thought that, like, that's been setting up for years now. And it's still not set up. He still hasn't really seen, we haven't really seen that much of him. And there's also another villain they introduced in this movie called Tombstone. He's only on screen for like 10 seconds, but I guess he looks kind of cool. And I guess, like, the one thing that I just don't like is how Marvel is always like, oh, you gotta watch every single movie from, like, every single show, every single thing, every single Punisher series, all of them, X-Men. Because I don't know how Jean Grey could come back into here. I know it's probably from just, like, a different universe. MCU could literally go on forever if it includes multiverses, because you could do, it's like an infinite amount of universes, pretty much. So the MCU could literally go on forever. We can introduce new characters over and over and over again, and that's just what, like, can happen. But yeah, that's, like, the only thing I don't like. Like, there's a bunch of things in this movie that don't really make sense to me, either because it wasn't really explained very well, or they expect you to know from, like, another Marvel project or something. Like, I don't know. It's all really confusing. And I guess I also forgot to mention, like, how Jean Grey's story ends. So, Peter is going up against a bunch of people from the corrections facility, or whatever it's called, I don't know. And Jean Grey is about to kill the main dude there, because he's the one that killed her sister. So then Peter tries to stop Jean from killing him and goes into Peter's mind and sees Aunt May giving her a speech about what she said to Peter and how, like, mutants like her are treated badly and giving her motivation. And that stops Jean Grey from being the big bad, which is why that specific memory. She went into Hulk's mind. She went into Scorpion's mind. Hulk has universally been one of those dudes who, like, he's been through a lot. He's had probably the hardest life out of all the Avengers, and yet nothing in there breaks her. And I'm sure Scorpion had some bad times if he's ended up the way he is. But, it's just whatever. It's still a pretty strong ending and a pretty good message. But it just overall is pretty weird. But I don't care. I don't mind it. It's still a really good movie. I still really enjoyed it. And so, let's talk about the ending. So, by the end of the movie, him and MJ are no longer partners because earlier in the movie, MJ found the note that Peter made, and she still couldn't remember him at all. So, she's like, I don't know you. I don't like you because I knew you never existed. I don't know who you are. But then the only person that actually remembers him is Ned, because Peter does a handshake with him, which is pretty cool. And Spider-Man is seen as one of the greatest superheroes of all time. So yeah, I don't think I really forgot anything. If I did, please let me know. I just did everything I could remember. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in another one. Bye. Sorry how long it took for me to make this video. Oh yeah, I forgot to rate it. This is a tough choice. I think I'll give it a 9 out of 10.